They've now arrested the superintendent of schools in Des Moines, Iowa. In a message to families, the school board chair, Jackie Norris, confirmed that Superintendent Eon Roberts was taken into custody this morning. District officials say they have no additional confirmed details about his detention or what the next steps may be. ICE, with the assistance of the Iowa State Patrol, says Roberts was found with a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a fixed blade hunting knife. The agency claims Roberts has been living in the United States illegally from Guyana. He was under a final order of removal issued in May 2024 and had no work authorization. He formerly was a principal in Maryland, has worked in education for a number of years. And to the point there, to Michael's point, Drew, they talked about, releasing, going after hardened criminals. The superintendent of schools, I don't think qualifies for that category.
Listen, it's just like Michael said, the people who voted for this man that's occupying the White House, whether they try to admit to it or not, they voted for this. We know that he's a liar. We know that he's racist. We know who's leading the charge, which is Stephen Miller, who is his puppeteer. We recognize that this is exactly what they want to do. He played into, I guess you would say, the fears of those that are criminals, but he is going to the places where it's the lowest hanging fruit. And while we are able to hear about Ian in Iowa, and we saw this situation that was in New York, there are thousands of people who are actually just going about their day and are coming up missing because this is their approach. This is their attack. We know this. I don't even understand why we are surprised. Yes, we need to use this to push back. Yes, we need to think about ways to be able to figure out ways to make sure we highlight all of this information. But truth be told, I really do not believe anything is going to happen until the next election cycle and we change who's in place to make decisions and make laws that could make sure that we keep our people safe.
Oh, there's no doubt. Listen, this is what they want to do. This is what they want to see. They absolutely are buying into this. This was the statement. ICE released a statement. This is what they said. During a targeted enforcement operation on September 26, 2025, officers approached Roberts in his vehicle about identifying himself, but he sped away. Officers later discovered his vehicle abandoned near a wooded area. State Patrol assisted in locating the subject, and he was taken into ICE custody. Roberts has existing weapons possession charges from February 5th, 2020. Roberts entered the United States in 1999 on a student visa and was given a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. The investigation into how Roberts acquired the handgun is being turned over to the ATF. It is a violation of federal law for those in the United States without legal status to possess a firearm and ammunition. And as I said, he was the superintendent of schools in Des Moines, Iowa. Matt, you're muted.
My apologies. I said I think Drew was 100% right in her commentary. The thing I am a little perplexed by, though, is, one, if those charges are allegedly from 2024, then that's obviously the prior administration. And what I'd be interested in knowing is how the Des Moines Public Schools, one, didn't have a contingency plan for this, or, how he was basically in that job if those things are true. That's definitely not to cast aspersions on him, but Des Moines, I just looked it up, their certified enrollment this year is 30,000 students. So, how you could have a superintendent who is in a status where there's a question about whether he's going to be enforced is a concerning thing. And I wonder, as this goes on, what we're going to learn about why, he was being targeted and what those charges came from. And that's to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, everybody should be presumed innocent. However, I think the larger point that Drew was speaking to is, the idea that Trump very often says things that we know are just patently false. And the rhetoric around rounding up immigrants has been, we're going to get these criminals. But I mean, if you're the PhD superintendent of a school district with 30,000 students, you are, at least presumed not to be a criminal. So I don't know how that happens, and I don't know how, if you are MAGA, how you jibe with what is being said, but what is true, and that is that they're rounding up people who are not known to be criminals, which is in direct contravention of what they're saying. But beyond that, I mean, I am interested in knowing more, because if there was an order of removal from last year, I think, we have to be truthful about the fact that that did not emanate from this administration. And I'm interested in the information around that, because I think that context is important.
Michael?
Yeah, Roland, I wasn't familiar with this case here. So we'll see how this turns out. It sounds like he was doing a good job. Here, he came in on the student visa. We do know that overstaying visas is a big problem as well, but there's a difference between coming in to the country illegally and coming in on a student visa and overstaying the visa. That happens a lot, okay? But they did come in legally. So we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully it turns out the best for him. But you hope that he gets some type of the benefit of the doubt, or that there's some other details that we don't know about that are in his favor, because it sounds like he was doing a really good job in his position also.
Just what is going on with the Des Moines Public School system? For starters, the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division is looking into alleged race-based discrimination in hiring for Des Moines Public Schools, which it says violates federal law. But really, that news is just the cherry on top. The district of 30,000 students is already swept up in uncertainty surrounding its now former school superintendent. Ian Roberts stepped down earlier today after he was arrested by ICE on Friday. Roberts is a native of Guyana and a former Olympic athlete who has served Des Moines Public Schools since 2023. A noon deadline came and went for Roberts to confirm his citizenship to the school board. The story is fast becoming a legal nightmare for Roberts and a PR nightmare for the people who hired him. News Nation's investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has been digging into Roberts' record and found that some things are not adding up.
Hi.
How are you?
It's unusual for ICE agents to arrest Midwestern school superintendents, and it's even more unusual for those superintendents to be found in possession of a loaded handgun, a fixed-blade hunting knife, and thousands of dollars in cash. But the case of Ian Roberts is anything but usual.
It's complex, it's difficult, and there are a lot of what I would call a myriad of issues that are involved.
When the news broke that ICE arrested Roberts, initially, Des Moines School Board Chair Jackie Norris called for radical empathy.
Are you still calling for radical empathy, and is the board taking any responsibility for his hiring?
There was nothing in the information that was given to us to allude to any question about his citizenship.
One question raises another, and straight answers are in short supply. Where was Roberts born? When a reporter asked him last year, he dodged the question.
Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Sure. Yeah, so both parents are from Guyana, South America. So I spent most of my formative years between Guyana and Brooklyn, New York.
ICE says he entered the U.S. on a student visa in 1999 and received a removal order in May 2024. Athletic competition records cite his birth date as December 18, 1973. But court records and his 2017 marriage certificate list December 18, 1970 as his birth date. His voter registration in Maryland says 1970. Roberts' academic record even more confusing. His LinkedIn, an impressive number of schools. A bachelor from Coppin State University, master's degree, St. John's, Morgan State University. For years, he went by doctor. St. John's confirmed he got a master's but not a doctorate degree. His official bio says he completed programs at Morgan State. But Morgan State tells us no, quote, Ian Roberts did not receive any degree or certificate from Morgan State University. Roberts left his last position at Mill Creek High Township in Pennsylvania for the job here. In a note, Mill Creek Township says he passed all clearances, including an FBI background check. But in 2020, at the time of his hiring in Mill Creek, the school board there raised questions about his background, according to minutes of their board meetings we obtained. Dr. Roberts lacked the educational certificate from his educational facilities that he obtained his doctorate.
You referred to him as Dr. Roberts. Can you tell us which institution he received his doctorate from?
Yes, it was, I know it, the international school, Trident International, right.
Trident International University, an online university. As many in the community rally around his case in solidarity, some parents with kids in the district have had enough.
Even if you take, was he here legally or not, when he was stopped and then he took off and he fled, and then they found a loaded gun, a fixed blade knife, and $3,000 in cash in his car, that enough is, I'm done.
That mom, Jen Cronin, says instead of radical empathy from the school board, she wants to see radical transparency and accountability. Ian Roberts, his attorney, says he's working to have his deportation order stayed and wants to reopen his immigration case. Elizabeth?
Is he still there, Rich? Where is he tonight?
It's unclear. We believe he is in a jail here in Des Moines, but even his attorney alluded to the fact that it's possible he is not.
Okay, and super quick, we mentioned he was an Olympic athlete. Which country did he compete for?
Guyana, South American country of Guyana.
All right, so that would seem to clear up at least when he wouldn't answer where he was born. This is the strangest story, Rich.